Hello, my name is Tomas Sheridan. I'm a documentary producer and director and the director of Polyfilm Media, a company based in Edinburgh that works both with education and with documentary filmmaking with the aim to make the world a better place. This small ambition. So I attended the summer school for cinema, human rights and advocacy in 2016 in Galway. And I think the thing that surprised me the most by attending the school was what I actually got out of it, because I thought it was really similar to pitching forums and to those interactions, those networking interactions that happen in the film world around festivals. In fact, it was an enormous learning experience. And for me personally, it was really useful to explore points of view in filmmaking. I learned so much about human rights, about the Charter of Human Rights in particular, and just to be able to sit side by side with people who had completely different expertise, who worked in NGO settings or research in human rights areas, was extremely useful for me because while I thought I was informed about many of these things, you think you're informed because you read on Facebook and you follow campaigns and you try and push things. For me, it was particularly interesting to be able to actually learn from an academic point of view concepts around human rights and what they are, what they mean, and I felt it made me much more complete as a human being. At the time, I was working on a project about a skateboarding girl, granddaughter of refugees, who was born and grew up in Wales, whose grandparents had left Palestine in 1948. And she was on a mission to return back home and find the home that her grandparents had built.
Handwriting, so I think I've got quite a lot to do to catch up on the whole thing. My mum's clearly a lot better at writing Arabic than I am, so we haven't really talked about it. It's like it's a closed subject. Every time I mention the word Palestine, like my mum just shuts off. But I'm going anyway because I'm really curious. I feel like there's this massive side of my family that I don't know, and I have no way of knowing that side of my family unless I take some steps to go to where my grandmother used to live, or, you know, I've never been to my grandmother's house. So I wonder what it was like when you were leaving Palestine, and I don't know, that's such a weird trip. Like, I bet you never thought you'd end up in Wales, so. I'm going to try and find the house that you and Grandad built. I want to know I just want to know what it's like. And I just hope that you're looking after me, because I'm a bit scared.
This project unfortunately didn't end up getting made, and I think I'm probably to blame for that. I mean, I lost steam along the way, as you do sometimes, and moved on to other projects. But in the meantime, I also learned so much during the summer school, because all my pitching experience so far had been in a film environment. And it was really interesting to shift the attention of the pitch towards talking about human rights and what actually the story is about, delving into the nitty-gritty and the details of your character's conflict within a bigger picture, a bigger political, social, historical picture. This was extremely useful for me. Following the summer school, I kept in touch with many of the people I met there, from film festival directors to researchers to other filmmakers or activists, and I'm happy to say that on several occasions we exchanged advice, so I could email them and ask them advice about specific human rights issues, or they could ask me technical questions about how to realize an idea that they had, and that really is the amazing thing about this school. I think when you go there as a filmmaker, you fill this enormous gap in your knowledge from the point of view of human rights and advocacy. And when you go there as academic researcher, you're learning about how to pitch and how story structure works. And when you're going there as an advocate or an activist who's working on human rights issues, you learn tools both for filmmaking, but also theory behind the things you're already putting in practice on the ground. So for me, it was an invaluable experience. I mean, I would do it every year if I could. I love the organizers. I mean, Claudia, Nick, and Zoe. They were just amazing, and all the speakers had a whole new sphere of knowledge to share with us from the point of view of legal matters, historical human rights issues, even filmmaking, pitching, how to structure an idea and present it. So yeah, I think back on that summer with really a lot of nostalgia. It was beautiful, and I'm glad to say I went away with a lot more knowledge, a lot more friends, and a lot more tools to use in my profession.